is the recent one is 2021. So what I've written in my notes is so mandatory to do HPV DNA testing in new FIGO. Okay, so whenever we say FIGO, we'll have to number them by Roman numerals. So
Everybody
1, 2,
mute
3, and
please. वो
4.
पीछे से background noise आ रहा है.
Okay. In gynec cancers, now nodal metastasis will all come in 3C, except in vulva and ovary. Okay. So in stage
तुम्हारा ही
1,
है क्या
so
background
it is
noise?
confined to the vulva. And now
Background noise तुम्हारा ही आ रहा है क्या आपका गाड़ी का vehicle का?
मेरा नहीं रे.
अभी ठीक है.
Hello.
Continue.
Okay. So stage 1 is tumor confined to vulva. So in that we'll have to consider gross size and stromal invasion. So the cutoff is for gross tumor size it is 2 centimeter. Stromal invasion is 1 mm. Okay, that will divide it into A and B. Okay, less than or equal to 2 centimeter and stromal invasion less than or equal to 1 mm. So both, if it is there, then it is A. Then more than 2 centimeter or stromal invasion more than 1 mm, it is B. So for A, both gross size and tumor invasion, both in criteria should be matching this cutoff, then it will be A. If either one of them are more than 2 or 1 mm, it will come in B. So stage 2, tumor of any size with extension to lower 1/3 of urethra, lower 1/3 of vagina, lower 1/3 of anus with negative nodes. So when you are doing whatever organs in that perineum, if it is involved, that is lower 1/3 starting from anterior, it can be urethra, vagina and anus, and it should be lower 1/3. And when you palpate the inguinal node, it should be negative. That comes in stage 2. Now stage 3, tumor of any size with inclusion to upper part of the adjacent perineal structures or with any number of nodes where the node should be non-fixed, non-ulcerated. So it's just like ENE, but here grossly not fixed, not ulcerated, because extracapsular spread will come in 3C and not 4. So 3A, it will include tumor of any size with extension to upper 2/3 of urethra, vagina, bladder mucosa, rectal mucosa or regional node metastasis less than 5 mm. More than 5 mm will come in B and with extracapsular spread will come in C. Then 4, all fixity, ulceration, distant metastasis will all come in 4. So A will be fixed to the pelvic bone, fixed or ulcerated regional nodes. B is distant metastasis. So here, okay, here how to measure the depth of invasion. So there's a like what is the from where do you measure? For that I put this paragraph, measuring the depth of invasion from the basement membrane of the deepest adjacent dysplastic rete ridge or dysplastic rete peg to the deepest point of invasion. So wherever there is invasion,
Same
that
like
is one
oral
point.
cavity, basement membrane से measure कर रहा है ना?
In this is basement membrane of the rete peg, that is reticular dermis, I think, no? There where what we take depth of in oral cavity,
basement membrane से measure करते हैं वहाँ पे भी.
Basement membrane only. Here the basement membrane is of the rete ridge, that dip in that epidermis, no? From there they take it. I'll put figure. I'll have to also see this. So this is one thing I wanted people to know. So anything else that I've written? So this is recent vulva 2021. Going to vagina. Here I put both TNM and FIGO in simultaneously to compare, because TIS, there is no FIGO for TIS. So FIGO no longer includes stage 0, TIS. So that is what I wanted to highlight here. So in FIGO it starts only with 1. TIS is not included in stage, there is no stage 0. So stage 1 is tumor confined to vagina. Stage 2 is tumor invades paravaginal tissue but does not extend to pelvic wall. 3 is pelvic wall. 4 is, what is 4B? Okay. Tumor invades mucosa of the bladder, rectum, or shows direct extension beyond the true pelvis. Here, bullous edema is not sufficient to allow classification of T4. So, any other, like even in cervix, it is, if it is 4, it will be inclusion, there should be invasion into the mucosa, which should be proven by direct examination. But the same with the vulva that we saw was, if bladder mucosa, rectal mucosa is involved, it is 1 stage less than vagina. Okay. So in cervix, broadly, 1 is confined to cervix, 2 is the other parts of the uterus and fallopian tube. It is invasion of the uterus but does not extend into vagina or pelvic wall. Then invasion of lower 1/3 of lower 1/3 of vagina and pelvic wall. So 1 is confined to the cervix, 2 there is extension to vagina and pelvic wall, but it is only upper 2/3. If it goes to the lower 2/3 and lateral towards the lateral pelvic, it will be 3. If it is going beyond the true pelvis, that is biopsy proven invasion to mucosa of bladder or rectum, will be 4A, and distant organs will be 4B. So going into details of stage 1. So 1A, it's an invasive carcinoma with maximum depth of invasion is less than or equal to 5 mm. This is not visible on MRI. Probably it is on the cone excision where we can get a 1A. So if it has to be visible on MRI, probably it will be having a depth of invasion more than 5 mm. There again, the B is subdivided on the gross measurement as 2 centimeter, 2 to 4, more than 4, where it will become 1, 2, 3 under the B category. Next, 2, it involves a vagina upper.
B is like big. B is like big, dichega.
Big, yeah. So depending on the gross size, B1, B2, B3. But to call it B, it should have depth of invasion more than 5 mm. Then going to stage 2. Here, it goes beyond the uterus, meaning it involves upper 2/3 of the vagina in A. If it is parametrium, it is 2B. There again, this A that invades the upper 2/3 of vagina is again divided into A1 and A2, that is 4 centimeter cutoff. So more so you should remember these even numbers in cervix, like half, 2 and 4. Half is 5 mm. That will tell you the depth of
ये
invasion.
बताओ 2 to 4 और कौन से सब साइड में आता है?
In oral cavity, and you told one more thing, no? Anus.
Anus 2 to 5 हुआ है.
Yeah.
Anus, breast और एक और कौन सा था? अपने 2 to 5
Breast
lymph node of penis.
less than 2 to 5 है.
2 to 5.
Head and neck.
This is head and neck, yeah. 2 to 5.
Head and neck 2 to 4 हुआ है. And
anus, head and neck. So
anus, breast, and the lymph node size of penis. Penis or testis?
testis. Less than 2 to 5, greater than 5.
ठीक.
क्या है पेनिस ब्रेस्ट
टेस्टिस लिम्फ नोड्स में क्लिनिकल का N1 N2 N3 है ना, लेस देन 2 सेंटीमीटर, 2 to 5 सेंटीमीटर, ग्रेटर देन 5 सेंटीमीटर।
ओके।
थर्ड का 2 to 4 है ना, पैंक्रियास का भी है ना,
अरे हेड एंड नेक का तो हर जगह पर ही 2 to 4 होगा, चाहे पैरोटिड है चाहे
हेड एंड नेक नहीं, और कहाँ है? पैंक्रियास में भी है ना, लेस देन 2 to 4, ग्रेटर देन 4।
पैंक्रियास
और थायराइड का भी वैसा ही है ना।
थायराइड इज इन हेड एंड नेक ओनली ना, थायराइड इज इन हेड एंड नेक ओनली।
पैंक्रियास
ठीक है।
So head and neck, breast
नहीं रे, breast 2 to 5 होता है।
sorry
ब्रेस्ट एंड एनस एक है।
ब्रेस्ट एनस और वो लिम्फ नोड डिस्कस किया ना, वो 2 to 5 है।
हाँ
वो एक है।
okay
ये तुम्हारा ये हटाओ ना प्लीज।
okay so in cervix we'll remember like all the even numbers, half, 2 and 4. So half will be 5 mm, that will come in 1A and B distinguishing. So B is big, so you'll have to remember 2 and 4. Then coming to stage 2, it will be upper 2/3 vagina as A, lateral the parametrium will be B. Again in the vaginal involvement we'll have A1 and A2 where 4 is the cutoff. Then 3, stage 3 is invasion of lower 1/3 of vagina or lateral pelvic wall. Here hydronephrosis, non-functioning kidney and pelvic and para-aortic nodes are also included. So invariably if anywhere in gynec you think of nodes, it will be 3C. Except vulva where we discussed, and ovary also. Ovary, in 3A, it is lower 1/3 of vagina. 3B is lateral pelvic wall. 3C is nodes. Nodes again is C1 and C2. C1 is pelvic, C2 is para-aortic. Then 4, here you have to remember biopsy proven mucosa. So in gynec also there is importance for cytology and biopsy proven pathology in the staging. Like in ovary, pleural effusion should be cytology proven. Then only it will become 4A. So like that. So here also this mucosal involvement should be biopsy proven to be 4A. Next, ovary. So ovary, what you have to draw is you have to draw 2 lines. One is at the pelvis, one is at the thoracic and abdominal interface. So one will be only confined to ovary.
कैसे लाइन ड्रॉ करोगे वो?
Like imaginary, one at the pelvic brim. So whatever disease is confined below to the pelvis will be 2. Above the pelvic brim will be 3. Above the diaphragm
वो
will
था
be
ना
4.
pelvic brim का जो लेवल था, that is transverse process of pelvis और inferior ASIS तो superior level हो गया, उसका कुछ लैंडमार्क है, इसलिए मैं पूछ रही थी।
What is that? The highest art. Okay, no, here why I'll tell you how you, when we are staging, what you have to know, that pelvic brim by structure and the peritoneum lining, that's all. Even if the bowel comes into the pelvis, and you have to see 2 things, whether only the peritoneum of the small bowel is involved or it is transmural spread. So both stages are different. So if it is organ confined, so to ovary or fallopian tubes. So whenever we are talking about one, there should be nothing else involved except the ovary. But the C is a special category where you will cause microscopic spillage to the peritoneum either surgically or there is a capsular breach, but there is no evident structural disease anywhere else in the peritoneum. So probable microscopic spill into the peritoneal fluid, or there is malignant cells which is ascertained in the ascitic or the peritoneal washing. So all these, one, whatever is visible to your eyes on the ovary or anything in the fluid that is microscopic will be C. So everything comes in 1A. I mean 1. 1A will be limited to one ovary. What other things that you have to ascertain is the capsule should be intact. There should not be any tumor on ovarian or fallopian surface, and there should not be any malignant cells in the ascites or peritoneal portion. If both the ovaries are involved, it will become B, that is both. If it is C, then surgical spill is 1. 2, capsular rupture before surgery would have already happened, causing microscopic dissemination of the cells in the ascitic fluid. C3 will be proven malignant cells in ascitic peritoneal portions. Then coming to 2. Here, there is disease dissemination beyond the ovaries or fallopian tube to the pelvic organs or the peritoneal covering of those.
सर्जिकल स्प्ले किसमें आता है? वो इंट्रॉप स्प्लेज, सॉरी सर्जिकल स्प्लेज इंट्रॉप किसमें आएगा फिर?
सर्जिकल 1 में C में
1C1.
Okay, one thing.
So very well confined to the ovary. If you are causing spillage iatrogenically, it is C1. But even before you when you see a tumor rupture, but there is no cytology positive ascitic cell, then it will be 2. It's already microscopic cytology cells positive in ascitic or peritoneal, it will be C3. In any of this case, the peritoneal will be normal elsewhere.
देखो बस इतना ध्यान रखना होता है कि बाकी सब जगह पर हम पढ़ते हैं ना कि एसाइटिस स्टेज 4 होता है, पर ओवरी में एसाइटिस स्टेज 4 नहीं होता है.
कंफ्यूजन, अगर वो सर्जिकल स्पिल प्री-ऑप हुआ तो एसाइटिस तो खुद ही पॉजिटिव आएगा ना?
नहीं, उसमें तुमको ओवरी फटी हुई दिख जाएगी.
फटी हुई तो
आप वॉशिंग लेते हो ना?
हाँ, इसमें देन C3
में वॉशिंग में पॉजिटिव आएगा तो C3 होगा, पर तुमको ओवरी फटी हुई दिख गई.
वॉशिंग खुद ही आएगा ना?
क्या?
नहीं, वो भी है, ये भी है. पेरिटोनियल वॉशिंग क्या तो
बाप रे, तुम दोनों साथ में बैठे हो क्या?
अरे रे कहाँ?
But you know, at the start of surgery there was no rupture or nothing. So
I remember as ISM. I is iatrogenic, S is spontaneous, and M is malignant cells peritoneal washing. इसमें
दूर बैठे हो
क्या है ना? वो इको आ रहा है भाई. मोहन
गया मोहन.
चलो इको आ रहा है.
Okay. So anywhere in the pelvis you find disease. It can be pelvic organs or the peritoneal surface over the pelvic occupying organs. If you find, then it is 2. So here what is included is extension or implants on the uterus, fallopian tubes or ovaries is A, and small bowel is occupying the pelvis and you find serous deposits over that, it is 2. The same thing if it becomes transmural, it will becomes 4B. That's the thing. Only surface deposit of the pelvic occupying small bowel will be 2B. Then if it goes beyond the pelvic brim, here again A, B and C. Here A1 is positive peritoneal nodes, only cytology or histologically proven. By size A1 I, that is 1, will be up to 1 centimeter. Beyond 1 is 3, A1 and 2. Then B will be gross deposits. Like if it is less than 2 centimeter, peritoneal metastasis with or without nodes is B. If it is more than 2 centimeter, then it is C. Distant now.
Repeat करना यार. Confusion हो गया.
Okay, I'll tell. See. In 3, it will be beyond the pelvic brim. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So when you're seeing beyond the pelvic brim, you will see the size of the peritoneal metastasis, how big it is. If it is less than 2 or more than 2 centimeter, you see. If it is less than 2, put it under B. If it is more than 2, put it under C. Because A is already occupied by lymph nodes. A, the lymph nodes again will be subdivided depending on the size as 3A1, 1 or 2, depending on less than 1 or more than 1. And microscopic, A2 will have microscopic extrapelvic peritoneal involvement plus or minus nodes. So not to confuse, what you have to remember is A is occupied by the nodes, B is occupied by less than 2 centimeter microscopic disease, C is occupied by more than 2 centimeter peritoneal disease. Now, apart from the gross, there is microscopic peritoneal involvement also. That will come in 3A2. That's all.
माइक्रोस्कोपिक पेरिटोनियल इन्वॉल्वमेंट तो हम लोग निकालेंगे नहीं, हमको आंखों से दिखेगा नहीं.
No, we'll take the sample.
अरे हमारी मैडम ने बोला कि आज के डेट में नहीं करते हैं आप ये.
No, I think we should, because in the ovarian laparotomy that is a part of it. So, and if it is included in the stage, I think that's the only way we can find out, no, that 3A2.
मैडम को बोलना पड़ेगा. चलो.
Okay, then as I said, stage 4, pleural effusion with cytology positive. And 4B will be other. It can be non-regional or distant metastasis. Okay. This is coming to uterus. So uterus is according to 2023 FIGO. So what you have to know in uterus is about aggressive and non-aggressive histological types. Because aggressive histological types will make it upstage, plus it will come in C category. So I'll tell you how to differentiate. Whenever you see aggressive histology, it will be C. But whether it will be 1 or 2, it will depend on whether it is only confined to the endometrium or myometrium. So when we go into details, we can segregate, because I've just studied, but I should not be wrong.
You meant to say, agar aggressive histology hai to it doesn't matter whether it is involving endometrium or myometrium. It comes under one system.
No. Aggressive histology, whenever you see the word aggressive, it should be some C. But what comes before that C, that depends on
confined to endometrium वाला भी 1C रहेगा. If वो aggressive histology है तो एक्चुअली वो aggressive histology usually P53 mutation के कारण होता है. तो
there are named aggressive histology which are non-endometrioid. So when we see those names, no, those are this one. So aggressive histological types are composed of high grade endometrioid carcinoma, serous, clear cell, undifferentiated, mixed, mesonephric-like, gastrointestinal mucinous types, and carcinosarcomas. So endometrioid 1 and 2 is non-aggressive histology. Go chhod ke baki sab, it will become aggressive histology. So whenever you see any of these in the histopathology report, like all these named fancy endometrial CS, that will come as aggressive histological type. Only the endometrioid type, grade 1 and 2 is non-aggressive, which is endometrioid type being the more common. The other encounter will all be aggressive histology. And as Samantha said, that P53, there's a role in endometrial cancers to call it, P53 is a bad prognostic indicator. So it will also be an aggressive type. So A, disease limited to the endometrium. Just a second. So in endometrium, whenever we are seeing, so for staging we have to see the histology. So in gynec cancers, cytology, histology is important. Okay, we see whether this is confined to the endometrium and whether it is a non-aggressive histology that is low-grade endometrioid with invasion less than half of myometrium, with no or focal lymphovascular space involvement, or good prognosis disease. So all the good prognosis will come to 1A. And 1B will be again non-aggressive with invasion more than half of myometrium and with no or focal LVSI. All the aggressive histologies will come in C, but if it is only endometrium, it will be 1C. If you see aggressive plus myometrium, it will become 2C. So, aggressive histology for the same stage, it will be one stage below. Like, for example, see, in stage 1 for less aggressive histology, even myometrium is also included. But for aggressive histology, it is endometrium only. So how to remember this? Organ confined is 1. That is, it should be only confined to the uterus, not even cervix or I think even not even involvement of this one, adnexa, nothing, no? Yeah, it's only confined to the endometrium, myometrium. So that will come in 1. There was a picture. Have I put that picture? I think I read through the picture. Okay. So in endometrium 1A will be
LVSI फोकल वाले को नोटिस करो, फोकल LVSI होने से 1A 2 होता है, पर सब्सटेंशियल LVSI होता है तो वो नेक्स्ट स्टेज पहुंच जाता है. तो आजकल ये पुराने स्टेजिंग में LVSI वाला पॉइंट नहीं था, ये नए स्टेजिंग में LVSI वाला पॉइंट आया है. तो हमारी जो कंसल्टेंट होती है वो हमेशा LVSI पे कमेंट करती है कि प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं प्रेजेंट है, और फोकल और सब्सटेंशियल की डेफिनेशन क्या है वही पता होनी चाहिए.
So what we'll do is, it is, I think, getting little confusing. So what I'll do is, first broadly what is there in 1, 2 and 3 and 4 we will see. Okay. 1 is when you see only confined to uterus and no other word. It should be endometrium or myometrium.
1A3 देखो 1A3.
Okay, then 2 will be cervical stroma.
E को आ रहा है.
Okay, cervical stroma 1. No extrauterine extension. This LVSI and this one we will come little later. Then stage 3 is loco-regional spread of any histological type. So serosa, adnexa, and all that fallopian tube direct contact with other pelvic organs, I think. Pelvic organs. And like we discussed, gynec malignancy, 3C will be nodes. This we'll have to see. Whenever we see nodes, it will be 3C, except in ovary and vulva. So
ओवरी में भी रेट्रोपेट्रिनल 3 बोलते हैं ना.
3A है पर वो 3C नहीं है.
It will start with A.
Okay.
So you have to remember 3C always nodes, except whether you are looking in ovary or vulva. Okay. So because it's uterus, 3C will be nodes. Next 4 will be bladder mucosa or intestinal mucosa or distant metastasis.
So broadly होता है.
हाँ, here ABC will be there. So I think I remember this is BPL. Whether it's bladder mucosa, P is peritoneal metastasis, L is what lung, liver, or whatever, nodes, intra-abdominal or whatever. So coming to details of each. So A, we said it should be only endometrium or myometrium. After seeing this, we have to see the histology, whether it is aggressive or it is non-aggressive. Then we have to include LVSI also. So now we'll concentrate only on non-aggressive. So if it is non-aggressive, limited to a endometrial polyp and confined to endometrium is A1. That is non-aggressive has A1, A2, A3. A1 is endometrium. A2 is less than half of myometrium but no LVSI. A3 will be low-grade endometrioid limited to uterus and ovary.
ये तो हो गया ना, फिर से क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं अपन?
A3, even ovary and uterus came here, huh? Because
Ovary only accepts low grade that to endometrium.
grade 1, grade 2 endometrioid. No, A3.
अरे वो उसमें हाई ग्रेड होगा, जो नीचे तुम आएगा ना उसमें हाई ग्रेड एडेनेक्सा होगा, तब उसमें सी में आएगा
शायद. Okay.
ये भी एक नया चेंज है, ये पहले नहीं था.
Yeah, this mainly uterus, it is by aggressive and non-aggressive histology only. So
ये
one
भी नया
B
entry
will be, one B will be more than half of myometrium, but no LVSI and with no or focal LVSI. So we said C, some aggressive histology will come. If it is 1, it will be endometrium. Okay. Then coming to stage 2, invasion of cervical stroma without extrauterine invasion. It has LVSI positive and it has a C where aggressive type will come but involving the myometrium. So that will be 2C. So A will be stroma, B will be LVSI, C will be aggressive myometrium.
Aggressive histologies with any myometrial involvement.
Okay.
तो एग्रेसिव हिस्टोलॉजी हमेशा 3C में आता है, ऐसे याद रख लेंगे.
Yeah, C will be all aggressive histology. Then if it is endometrium only, it will be 1. If it is myometrium, it will be 2. Then
aggressive histology.
Yeah, aggressive. So whenever you're writing that alphabet C, it represents aggressive histology. But Roman numeral depends on endometrium.
But 3C is belonging to notes.
Like gynec all malignancy. That way.
Okay.
So whenever we hear that C, 3C, in gynec, we will say nodes except in ovary and vulva. That's all you have to do. Okay. Then coming to 3A will be invasion of uterine serosa, adnexa, or by direct extension or metastasis. So it can be or both by extension or metastasis to uterine serosa and adnexa.
ओवरी और फैलोपियन ट्यूब में आएगा तो उसको 3A1 बोलेंगे, पर कंडीशन इज
except that 1A3 where
low grade endometrioid.
That is A3.
एक्चुअली उसकी प्रॉब्लम क्या है लो ग्रेड एंडोमेट्रॉइड की, कन्फाइंड टू यूट्रस एंड ओवरी. वो ओवरी से अराइज होके यूट्रस में गया है कि यूट्रस से अराइज होके ओवरी में गया है, वही क्लियर नहीं होता है. ठीक है. तो लो ग्रेड एंडोमेट्रॉइड इज बेटर प्रोग्नोसिस इन स्पाइट ऑफ बीइंग, अगर वो ओवरी से यूट्रस में गया है या यूट्रस से ओवरी में गया है, दोनों में उसकी प्रोग्नोसिस अच्छी है. तो TAH BSO इटसेल्फ से काम चल सकता है कभी कभी, लिम्फ नोड डिसेक्शन करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, इसलिए वो स्टेज 1 में.
मगर हिस्टोलॉजी कैसा पता चलता है वो और ये
क्या
लो ग्रेड एंडोमेट्रियल हिस्टोलॉजी बोल के कैसा पता चलता है?
यूजुअली फ्रोजन सेक्शन में भेजते हैं.
ओके.
ठीक है, पर अब
ओके.
फ्रोजन सेक्शन बहुत एक्सपर्ट पैथोलॉजिस्ट चाहिए. हमारे वाले तो बेनाइंग और मैलिग्नेंटी बता दे, हो ही बहुत है. लो ग्रेड एंडोमेट्रॉइड पर हमारे जो मैडम टाटा से आए थे वो बोल रहे थे कि लो ग्रेड एंडोमेट्रॉइड दे विल से इन फ्रोजन.
Okay.
The cytomorphology, I think, but I don't know what is the distinction.
ठीक है.
तो ये डिफरेंशिएशन शायद well differentiated, moderate differentiated.
Maybe seeing the nuclear atypia they might come.
क्या लो ग्रेड हाई ग्रेड?
साइटोमॉर्फोलॉजी में
कहाँ है साइटोमॉर्फोलॉजी?
नो इन
नहीं है, फ्रोजन में कैसा बोल?
फ्रोजन में कैसा बोलता है यार? वो पैथोलॉजी देखेगा, हम क्या देखेंगे? हर चीज हम ही देखेंगे तो फिर कैसे काम चलेगा?
नहीं वो लोग ही कैसा बोलते हैं हम लो ग्रेड हाई ग्रेड यूजुअली वो देखते, मतलब अगर
डॉक्टर राकेश पे क्वेश्चन छोड़ दो यार, उसकी वाइफ से पूछ के बताएगा।
आई थिंक वो ज्यादा एक तो माइटोसिस देख सकते हो और दूसरा अगर तुम्हें डिफरेंशिएशन मतलब इट इज मोर ऑफ अ ग्लैंड, वैसे भी वो बोल सकते कि ज्यादा प्रोग्नोस मतलब उतना भी।
पिछला एक क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर राकेश को दिया था, उसका आंसर अभी तक नहीं मिला।
लगता है
क्वेश्चन भी भूल गए।
क्वेश्चन ही नहीं मिला।
आज नोट कर लो आप, रिकॉर्ड भी कर लिया है मैंने लेक्चर में, आप देखो। चलो।
So 3A will be invasion to serosa adnexa both by direct extension or metastasis. Or 3B will be vagina, parametrium, pelvic peritoneum. C will be pelvic or parietal. So if it is B1, it will be vagina, parametrium. B2 will be pelvic peritoneum.
Come
C
closer
again,
to your mic, Ray.
C will be C1, that one, smaller one, micro, macro, and C2 will be parallel. Stage 4 will be again bladder mucosa.
This BPL was fine. ये याद रहेगा.
Yeah, ABC is BPL. Bladder mucosa, peritoneal, and leftover.
You have to repeat this tomorrow again.
भाई pelvic peritoneum किस में आएगा?
बताया तो उसने.
क्या? 3B. Yes. BPL वाला.
4B था वो.
सहाना इसमें वो है ना इम्पोर्टेंट.
3B में आता है।
किसका आज ये प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है यार इतना?
मोहन मेरा आ रहा है. तो माइक बंद कर भाई.
तुम दोनों एक ही कमरे में बैठे हो ना, इसीलिए ये हो रहा है.
अरे नहीं है मेरे कमरे में.
तो फिर कैसे हो रहा है? मेरे 2 फोन एक साथ चलते हैं तब होता है ऐसा.
नहीं अभी ठीक है क्या? अरे मैं घर पे यार. एक
तो
मिनट बंद
ऐसे हो
करना
रहा
भाई.
है. 2 फोन चला रहा है क्या कोई?
नहीं. अरे इसमें वो भी है ना, वो when it is poor mutated ये डाउन स्टेज हो जाता है.
उससे स्टेजिंग वो एक नया आया तो था, वो एक सर ने बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाया था.
अगर 53 है तो अप स्टेज हो जाएगा. वो क्या कंसेप्ट है वो पता ना, अगर इसमें है.
बस है यार, I don't have to. सोमशिखा सर क्लास only know it was समिता.
नहीं, हम लोग ने एक गाने कॉम्पो का क्लास लिया था, उसमें था.
सोमशेखर सर ने इजी मेथड में बताया सोमशेखर सर ने. पोर म्यूटेटेड, अल्ट्रा हाइपर म्यूटेटेड, अल्ट्रा
उससे भी इजी मेथड में वो एक क्लास में बताया था.
आपके पास है?
पढ़े थे, एक बार पढ़ाए थे हम, मुझे लगता है.
आपको पता है तो बोल देना.
याद
मुझे
थोड़ी
भूल गया. ये डिस्कशन वेरी लॉन्ग वाज 4-5 मंथ्स बैक. इतना याद है, अगर पोर म्यूटेटेड होगा तो डाउन स्टेज हो जाता है.
4 म्यूटेटेड होगा तो अच्छा ट्यूमर है, डाउन स्टेज नहीं होगा रे भाई, अप स्टेज होगा.
नहीं डाउन स्टेज हो जाता है.
4 म्यूटेटेड कैसे डाउन स्टेज हो जाएगा?
डाउन स्टेज में पोर म्यूटेटेड
पोल इज गुड प्रोग्नोसिस भैया.
गुड प्रोग्नोसिस नहीं रे. मगर डाउन स्टेज तो वही हुआ ना, गुड प्रोग्नोसिस.
हाँ.
And thing is, it represents only for stage 1 and 2. Even I remember if it is 2, it becomes to 1C like that. मगर मुझे पूरा कंफर्म, but it down stage. If it 53 है, 1C becomes 2.
अरे यार वो डाउन और अप में आप कंफ्यूज कर रहा है.
100% sure.
हाँ तो डाउन स्टेज कम हो रहा है, वही मैं बोल रही हूँ कि स्टेज कम हो रहा है. पोल इज गुड
वही तो
प्रोग्नोसिस.
डाउन स्टेज बोल रहा हूँ मैडम, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ.
इतनी ज्यादा
मतलब
इंग्लिश
down
बोल रहा है ना तू, मेरा दिमाग.
मतलब डाउन स्टेज मतलब सहाना का पेज डाउन हो रहा है.
मेरा तो स्टेज डाउन हो रहा है.
मतलब मैं डाउन स्टेज मतलब सहाना का पेज स्क्रॉल डाउन हो रहा है, ऐसा समझ.
अपस्टेज बोलना है यार, अपस्टेज बोल. P53 से अपस्टेज हो रहा है, P53 से अपस्टेज हो रहा है.
क्या भाई, मतलब अपस्टेज का उल्टा डाउन स्टेज होता है ना.
तो उल्टा क्यों बोलना है, सीधा ही बोलो ना.
वही तो ना,
पोल म्यूटेटेड है तो स्टेज 2 विल बिकम स्टेज 1, कुछ नहीं करना उसको, ऐसा कुछ.
P53 टेस्ट करते हैं. P53 अगर पॉजिटिव आता है तो हम उसको देंगे एडजुवेंट ट्रीटमेंट. इफ P53 नहीं आएगा तो नहीं देंगे. अगर P53 नेगेटिव आता है तो हम MSI टेस्टिंग करेंगे. MSI टेस्टिंग के हिसाब से आई डोंट नो क्या था, हाई एंड लो, एंड पोल में बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्नोसिस होता है तो कुछ नहीं
अगर वो नहीं है तो पोल ही ले लेते.
लास्ट में पोल करते हैं.
Pole mutated is stage 1 AM if it is P53 2C. That's what I've said. No one. FIGO endometrial staging with molecular classification. Molecular finding in patients with early endometrial, that is stage 1 and stage 2 after surgical staging. If it is pole mutated endometrial carcinoma confined to the uterus corpus or cervical extension.
एक्चुअली एंडोमेट्रियम का क्लासिफिकेशन विल टेक 1 day to read यार.
हाँ. So regardless of LPSI or histopathological type, if it is polymutated is stage 1A. M, that is by molecular classification. So it will be stage 1AM polymutation. P53 abnormality endometrial carcinoma confined to the uterine corpus with any myometrial invasion with or without cervical invasion, and regardless of the degree of LPSI or histopathological type is stage 2C molecular P53 abnormal. That was the thing.